Welcome to this video podcast from the International Al Jolson Society. Starting as an audio podcast in 2007, this is a look into the works and legacy of the world's greatest entertainer, Al Jolson. An unrivaled star of stage, screen, and recording, his influences are felt even today, more than 60 years after his passing. From April 21st, 1949, here is a slightly edited version of Jimmy Durante's repeat appearance on the Kraft Music Hall with Al Jolson and Oscar Levant. After his musical entrance, Jimmy joins Al for a fanciful trip around the world, with Oscar Levant playing the resident natives. They conclude the segment with a rendition of Real Piano Player, first introduced on the Jimmy Durante Show several days before this broadcast.
Some people come back to the music hall because they like it. Some come back because we like them. But here's the only man who has to make 2 appearances to get his nose in. Jimmy Durante.
You've got to start off each day with a song. Now even when things go wrong, why, you feel better, you even look better. Ha! Why, that note is so high it can only be heard by a dog.
Wait a minute, Jimmy. I heard that note.
What do you know? A talking dog. That Durante, you're mischievous tonight.
Jimmy, I understand you want to see me about something important.
Yeah, Al. I read in the paper that you're going to take a trip around the world this summer.
Yeah.
So I thought if the 2 of us went, we could be goodwill ambassadors. I've got the brass knuckles all packed.
Look, Jimmy, if we're goodwill ambassadors, why would we need brass knuckles?
Just in case we have to beat some goodwill into somebody.
I know you've been all over America, James, but have you ever taken any ocean trips?
Jolson, all you got to do is ask the officers on the Queen Mary. I sat at the captain's table every day until they served dinner.
Just a minute. You were on the Queen Mary, huh? You probably were a stowaway.
Wait a minute, Al. I had a beautiful cabin all to myself. Of course, I didn't like the crew coming in every half hour to oil the engines.
Oh, Jimmy. You don't know what traveling on an ocean liner is like. No, you don't, Jimmy. Not until you've hit a rough sea.
This boat trip was plenty rough, Al. My morning exercises consisted of trying to touch the floor with both feet.
Well, James, I don't know if you'll be of any help to me or not. You see, I want to go to romantic spots, like Biarritz, the Riviera.
Ah, the Riviera. I'll never forget Count Broccoli's house party.
Count Broccoli?
Count Broccoli, I knew him very well. That mad, enchanting night, when I took off my shoes and went wading in Lady High Bottom's onion soup.
Well, I can just see myself in Monte Carlo, Paris, and Venice, especially Venice, where the gondoliers sing, "Oh, sola mia, oh, sola ua." How do you like that, James? How do you like that?
Oh, boy, that's beautiful. I remember floating down a canal in Venice. It was such a lovely night, I kept wishing I was in a boat.
Oh, Jimmy, you're so right. There's so much to see in this world, isn't there?
Yeah, things like the Arch de Triomphe and the Leaning Tower of Pizza.
Jimmy, give me that again, please. The Leaning Tower of what?
The Leaning Tower of Pizza.
Pizza. Jimmy, it's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Pisa. Pizza is something they eat in Italy.
Well, maybe if they stopped eating on it, it wouldn't leave. Them riders got to go east soon. Now, Jolson, here's the way your route should go. We head for Hawaii first. Last time I went by plane.
Clipper?
Yeah, they overcharged me a little. You love Hawaii, Al. It's so romantic. I remember the last time I was there, the romance of the air made me feel like composing music. So I went out and sat in a secluded brook.
You said in a what?
I said in a secluded brook.
Jimmy, don't you mean nook?
I meant nook, but I didn't watch where I was sitting. I can just see us wandering around the beach at Oahu.
Jimmy, look at the girls doing the hula in those grass skirts.
Yeah, get out of my way. I want to throw some dandelion seeds at them.
What for?
In another month, the dandelions will choke out the grass.
Ooh-da, hickey, hoo-ah. Ooh-da, hickey, hoo-ah. Ooh-ah, ooh-ah. Are you fellas American?
Yeah, who are you?
Oscar Kamehameha. You fellas got nickel for coconut?
A coconut? I've heard dialects, but never one like that. I'll throw you the line again. A coconut?
I can only repeat. Ooh-ah.
Go ahead.
I'm sick of pineapple juice. Ooh-ah.
I can see from that, Jimmy, we'd better skip Hawaii. Where will we go next?
South America. We'll go straight as the crow flies. That is, if you like traveling by crow.
I've always wanted to go to South America.
Yeah, I want to be sure to see the Andes.
Oh, you'll not only see the Andes, but I'll show you the Amoses, too. But, Jimmy, you don't know anything about South America, do you?
Why, Al, I had my own coffee plantation in Brazil.
No.
It was just a small one of 8 beans. I grew nothing but demi-tasses.
There's an awful lot of coffee in Brazil. In fact, I was told that the faucets are marked. Hot, cold, and Chase and Sanborn.
Al, you and I could have a lot of fun in Brazil. I can picture us now sitting in our hacienda. That's French for Spanish. Well, how do you like the plantation, Al?
Oh, I couldn't sleep, Jimmy. The birds sang all night long.
Yeah, the coffee trees kept them awake.
Well, they ought to build their nest in a sanka tree. Jimmy, what do you say we go to a nightclub? I want to do some dancing.
I asked a couple of girls to dance last night, but they wouldn't say yes. They just kept saying, CC.
Wait a minute, Jimmy. Down here they speak Spanish. They say CC instead of yes, yes.
How do they say no?
Why, they just say no.
They always make that one easier.
Buenos dias, hombres. Are you Americanos?
It's him again. Say, how come you left Hawaii, the land of the hula and the grass skirts?
I got hay fever. Senores, give me nickel for a glass of milk.
Oh, milk?
Ooh-ha.
He wound up being a Western.
Say, Jimmy, when I see what a trip with you is like, I'm convinced I ought to stay home.
Suppose I wasn't along, Al. Where would you go?
Well, I'd like to go to Switzerland and see where Kraft gets their Swiss cheese.
But I thought Kraft made their Swiss cheese in this country.
The cheese, yes, but the holes are shipped from Switzerland.
You know, Al, I'd like to make that trip. From Switzerland, we could fly over the Himalayas.
Over the what?
Himalayas.
Jimmy, look, you don't even know where the Himalayas are.
Why, sure, they're right next to the Hurralayas.
Jimmy, it's no use. I think I'll stick to my original plan and take the trip with my wife.
Okay, Al. Like they used to say when I traveled through China.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I was traveling too fast. But, Al, as you go through these foreign countries, you'll no doubt be singing a song or two or even 5,000. So you'll need a real piano player.
Guess you're right, Jimmy. I better take you along. And I'll tell you why. Mr. Rembrandt needed a piece of canvas before he could paint a thing. Benvenuto Cellini needed a chisel before he could start sculpturing. And folks, Jolie needed a great piano player before he could start to sing.
Al, stop worrying. I'm here. Go ahead. Let your voice stop to ring.
Oh, Jimmy, by the way, do you play accompaniment? I mean, can you play classic stuff like Levant or Jose Iturbi?
I'm even better. Can Jose Iturbi play this? Or 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 this? Ah, Jose, make way for Nosey.
Why, Jimmy, you're sensational. What are we waiting for? Let's go. 'Cause it's a thrill.
It's a thrill.
When a real piano player sits down at the keys, it makes me weak in the knees to hear him. Oh, what a kick.
What a kick.
When a real piano player starts to tinkle away, it makes your voice light and gay. When he goes, I'm completely gone, I'm beside myself.
Well, I can understand your bliss. Don't get excited, Al. Compose yourself.
Levant was never like this.
Al, listen close. You know that ain't chopped liver.
Hear those harmonies.
You know this is very tiring. I play with all my might.
Here's $1, kid, don't stop. Keep playing all night, 'cause it's a thrill.
Yes, it's a thrill.
When a real piano player sits down at the keys. 2 bottles of beer upstairs.
You'll notice, Mr. Jolson, I don't need Larry Parks to play the Black Keys.
I've been stabbed. Keep going, boy. Let's hear that beat. Make that old piano smolder with heat.
He can't resist it. Just look at him shake. Al, take the break. Paderewski, Iturbi were guys I admired.
Forget them all, boy. Name your price. Gimme. You're hired.
Yes,
Oh, what a thrill. When a real piano player sits down at the keys. Sits down at the keys.
This entire radio program is available on the website of the International Al Jolson Society, www.jolson.org. That's JOLSON.org. Along with many other radio shows, Jolson recordings, video clips, and information about the world's greatest entertainer. Be sure to visit the site and listen for the next podcast. As Al Jolson said, in the words he made famous,
You ain't heard nothing yet.